Elizabeti's doll. Elizabeti had a new baby brother named Obedi. Elizabeti watched Mama take care of him, and she wanted to care for her own baby. She didn't have a doll, so she went outside and picked up a stick. She tried to hug it, but it poked her, and she dropped it on the ground. Then Elizabeti picked up a rock. It was just the right size to hold, and it didn't poke Elizabeti when she hugged it. She kissed the rock and named it Ava. When baby Obedi had a bath, he splashed and got Mama wet. When Ava had a bath, she behaved very nicely and only splashed a little. Mama fed Obedi, and he gave a loud burp. Elizabeti fed Ava, but she was too polite to burp. Mama changed the cloth wrapped around Obedi's bottom, and it was very messy. Elizabeti was very relieved to find that Ava's bottom was still clean. When Mama did her chores, she tied Obedi onto her back with a bright cloth called a kanga. When Elizabeti did her chores, she also tied Ava onto her back with a kanga. Mama had to help a little. Elizabeti went to visit her friend Rahiley. Rahiley laughed when she saw that Elizabeti had a rock for a doll. But Rahiley didn't have a doll either. So when Elizabeti left, Rahiley found her own rock and named it Malusi. When Elizabeti got home, it was time for her to get water from the village well. She took Ava out of the kanga and laid her on the ground near some other rocks so she wouldn't be lonely. Then Elizabeti wrapped the kanga into a small bundle, put it on top of her head, and placed the water jug on top of the kanga. This was how she always carried water and other heavy things. Elizabeti soon returned with the water and took it to her sister Pindu inside the cooking hut where all the family's meals were made. Then Elizabeti ran outside to get Ava. But Ava was gone. Elizabeti looked all around, but she couldn't find Ava. Mama found a new rock and gave it to Elizabeti. Elizabeti shook her head when she saw it. The rock was just a rock. Pindo also brought Elizabeti a rock. But it wasn't Ava either. Elizabeti was very sad and sat quietly until it was time to help Pindo in the cooking hut. The family had rice for dinner every night, and it was Elizabeti's job to put the pot of rice on the fire pit, which was made of 3 large stones. Elizabeti sadly filled the pot with water and set it on the stones to boil. But one of the stones wasn't a stone at all. It was Ava. Elizabeti called for Mama, and together they moved the pot of water and rolled Ava away from the fire. Although Ava was a bit dirty, she hadn't been hurt. Pendo ran outside to get a new stone for the fire pit, which is just how poor Ava had become lost. Ava sat quietly while Elizabeti cleaned her off and hugged her. At bedtime, Mama sang a lullaby and rocked Obedi in her arms until he fell asleep. Elizabeti sang a lullaby too, but she fell asleep before Ava did. Mama covered Elizabeti and Ava with a blanket. She smiled and thought that one day Elizabeti would make a fine mother. Ava thought so too.